In this presentation, we will generate, analyze, print, and export to Excel and income by contact report. Let's zoom into it with Xero. Here we are in our Xero company dashboard. We're going to be starting off by generating an income statement because the report we will be taking a look at will be supporting the line items on the income statement, particularly sales or revenue. So let's go to the old accounting drop-down. Let's go to our favorite report, that being the income statement, one of the two financial statement reports. When that then pops up, we're going to go ahead and right-click on the tab up top. We're going to duplicate the tab up top. We're going to put the income statement on the right. And then we're going to be generating our other report on the left, that being the income by contact. Let's go ahead and do this for 2019, because I think the data is better in our demo file thus far for it. So I'm going to go to the last year. This is going to be for 2019. And then what we're looking into now is the income statement. You'll recall, financial statement report. That means it's going to be kind of our primary report. A lot of the other reports are going to be supplemental to it. For example, if we have the revenue up top, or income, revenue, whatever we want to call it here. It might be called different names for different types of industries. It might be called fees earned for a service industry. This is the kind of the goal of the organization from an accounting standpoint, to generate revenue. And so we might want to see this revenue number in different types of ways. And what we want to keep in mind here as we go into this other report is a tendency we want to stay away from as you make your financial statements. And that is to start to break out a lot of accounts on the income statement related to different kind of types of revenue, or different categorizations that might not be appropriate, or might be more appropriate to use some other accounting reports for. For example, in the revenue account, you might be tempted to say, hey, I've got some core customers and I'd like to break out my revenue by customer who gives me the money. And so you might be tempted to make a revenue account, like a sales account, for customer 1, customer 2, customer 3, so that you can go to the income statement and track the customers that gave you the money. That's typically not appropriate. That's typically not something you need to do, because what it'll do is muddy up the income statement, which should give you a nice clear item here of just income. And then when you want to get the income by who paid you, by customer, then you can go to another report, such as the one we'll take a look at here. That's going to be the income by contact. So that more detailed item you want to kind of break out outside. The other one we might think of is income by what we do, such as the type of inventory we sell. In other words, you might be tempted to make a income account by items you sell, right? Inventory items, so that you can have on the income statement income broken out by the major items. Again, typically, unless there's just major groupings of items, maybe that would be appropriate, but typically you can have another report that will break out your income by items. And so oftentimes you don't need to do that on the income statement. Now there are deviations from that general rule, but just keep in mind that general rule. Otherwise, you're just going to have some kind of way too much information on the income statement that you could just have on some other reports, such as the one we're taking a look at here, which will be the income by contact, basically the income by customer. All right, we're going to go back to the first tab to generate that. We're going to go to the accounting dropdown. This time we're going to go to the reports tab. Within the reports, we're looking in the sales group over here. And if I hit the more dropdown, you can see the sales group. You can think of the things that are going to kind of be supporting the major line item on the income statement, which is sales. Also note that the sales, however, is in the sales cycle. So it's kind of related to accounts receivable. And that's why you see kind of these aged receivables on this side as well. So we have the customer invoice report, and we have the aged receivable report, and the income by contact report. The one we're focusing in on here is going to be the income by contact. So let's select the income by contact. I'm going to make this December 2019. So I'm going to bring it to 2019, and then I'm going to have the period be for the entire 12 months. So I'm going to say the 12-month time period. Previous periods, I'm going to say none on the previous periods. And then let's go ahead and update that report. I'm going to hold down Control and scroll up a little bit so we can see it a bit better. I'm at the 125. That's kind of where I like to be, at the 125 here. And so now we have the contacts. We got the Bank West, Boom FM, City, Agency, City, Limousine, and so on and so forth. And then we have the information over here for December, and it's going to total up then to the 23,427.43. That then, if we go back to the income statement, back to the second tab, is on our income line. So we can see that ties out to our income line. So the way we want to see this then would be, okay, here's our income line. I'd like to break out that income line by basically customer who we sell to. which we could call just contacts, right? When we think of the contacts in the system, we're thinking about customers and vendors. When we're thinking about the sales line revenue, we're thinking about basically contacts that are customers, people that paid us. And then we can go to another report to get that more detail, such as this. This is for the time period. We're having a 12-month time period tying into the 12-month income statement that we pulled up. And then we're going to have that same number now broken out into that more detail. And so here is our more detail by customer. So this is going to be a nice supporting report. We can also think about these kind of report. We can make kind of charts on this report if we wanted to. You can imagine this being in like a pie chart, which we might do later. Take this information and make a pie chart of it, so that we can see who our most valuable customers are in a pie chart fashion. Now we're going to go through our customary procedure here, and that's going to be to print this to a PDF file and then save it to Excel as well. So I'm going to be opening up and making this into a PDF file, and we're going to be adding this to the other reports that we have put together thus far. It's going to be here in section 4. So I'm going to pull this over into our folder. So there it is. I'm going to take that. I'm going to pull it over into our folder here and see if it pulls over. It did so this time. That's good. And then I'm going to name it. I'm going to put this like right underneath it, and I'm going to rename this demo, right clicking on it, and I'm going to rename it to this is going to be the income by contact. And then I'm also going to open up this Excel sheet because I want to add it to this Excel sheet that we made last time. So I'm going to make the new Excel sheet here, but then I'm going to put it into this existing Excel sheet, which currently only has the one tab on it. So let's pull that over into the screen. There it is. We're going to make a new tab down here for the new report. Then let's open up the new report in Excel. I'm going to export it to Excel. So I'm going to be using Excel. You could use Google Sheets, of course, as well. I'm not going to actually save it, but just open it, because then I want to copy and then paste it to a new sheet in the Excel workbook that has like all the reports on it. Here it is. I'm going to enable the editing on it and then bring that down so we can see the whole thing here, because I want to see the entire thing. And then I'm going to select this little triangle up top, or you can select Control A and right click and copy. And then I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to add a new tab. I'm going to add a new tab over here to the worksheet we were working on. New tab, and I'm going to call this sales by customer. I like customer better than contact personally, but because it seems more specific to me. In any case, you've got to be an A1. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to be pasting it, and that might just be a bias. Some of these things are biases, obviously. With the software that anybody uses, they get used to and start to say, well, I like that name. And it's like, well, that's just because you've been using it for 10 years. You like the name. So in any case, just if I'm overly biased on certain names, then it's probably my own. Just use what I'm used to. So there it is. There's the 150. We're going to bring it up to the 150 there, and that looks good. I'm going to go to the second tab and go back over to the first tab to see if it's on one page. Look, it's on one page. So now I'm going to print these reports. I'm going to go to the first one. This is a duplicate, and then I had this one here because I wanted the grid lines. So I'm going to delete this first one. I don't delete that. I'm going to right click on the tab. I'm just going to get rid of it. I'm going to get rid of that altogether. I don't want it at all. And then I'm going to take these two, and I'm going to be saving those as a PDF. So now we can save these as a PDF to one PDF file. We can go down to the old printer down here. If we wanted to print these two reports, this is a handy way to do it because we don't have to collate them. We can have them all on the same sheet. However, to do so, you want to make sure that you print the active sheet or change the active sheet to the entire workbook, which now has 2 pages on it, entire workbook here. Now you can print this out, and it'll be all collated, and it'll be working well. Or you can print it to a cute PDF printer. You need some kind of cute PDF printer to do this. It'll make then a PDF file with those two reports in it. It's going to ask us where we're going to want to put it, and then we're going to say, I'll tell you where we want it to go. We want it up here, and we want to put it in section 4, and then I'm just going to call it other reports. That looks good, so I'll save it as that. And now we can think about how we would give this to somebody else, right? We can give them the individual 2 reports, or we can put them in their own folder, which would probably be a step up, which I'm going to call other reports. And we can put the 2 reports that we have in there, which is the statement of cash flows, which is kind of the financial statement report. We're not really treating it fairly, calling it other reports. That's a major financial statement report. But in any case, it's not used as much as the income statement or the balance sheet, So I'm going to put that in there, and then we're going to say the income by contact is going to go in there. Then we could zip that and give that to someone. Obviously, right click and we can send it to a compressed file and give them the compressed file, or we can have this one PDF file which now hopefully has the 2 reports on it. You do want to open it up and just kind of check and say, yep, the 2 reports are there, and we can send that out. So those are the ways we can give this information to someone else.